Alright, hopefully this is really gonna happen at some point. So I'm gonna try to just get right into why I started my YouTube channel. Really what it comes down to is I went looking for information that I could not find. I mean, there were scattered little bits of information here and there, but not everything I was looking for. It's great that Pete does edge retention testing against rope. I think that's awesome. Shows a difference in steel. However, I don't cut rope. It's easily been 5, 6, who knows how many years since I cut a piece of rope. I cut cardboard mainly, followed by plastic strapping like you would see on a pallet or keeping boxes together, and zip ties. Those are probably the 3 biggest things I cut. Now that we're into summertime, it's going to be 5-gallon bucket lids. I will be cutting quite a few of them over the summer. I had used tons of these steels prior to starting my channel. But what I couldn't find was, like I said, I did find some information. There's a lot of mixed information. And it probably started, I wouldn't say this exact one, but you know, you hear a lot of blanket statements. CTS BD1 is comparable to 8CR13, and I can tell you from use and edge retention testing, nothing's further from the truth. BD1 keeps a fine edge as long or longer than the entire working edge of 8CR13. So things like that, I'm not sure where they got started, but that kind of stuff's a big reason why I started my channel. I didn't do edge retention testing the same in the beginning. I did it much different than I do. While it did show a difference, it didn't show what's the difference between this VG10 and another VG10, or what was the difference between M4, and 52-100. What were those differences? There's tons of inexpensive D2 in pretty good inexpensive knives, but how well did it do? That's stuff I didn't know. The D2 bandwagon was rolling. It's full steam ahead now, and I went through a lot of D2 trying to see what was good, what wasn't good. Was it everything everybody said it was? I absolutely found out otherwise. You hear a lot about how VG10 is just adequate, or it isn't any good. I'm here to tell you, VG10 will get you way more work than this steel wheel D2 will. That stuff wasn't available to me when I was looking for information a year and a half ago. I knew how they worked, knew how the steels worked when I used them, but I wanted to know, we don't all cut exactly the same thing every single day. So I wanted to know What was the difference between them? What about S90V? All I ever heard, a couple years ago, all I saw posted was S90V is harder to sharpen than S110V. So I got some S90V. I got a Cutlery Shop Mannix and S90V back about a year and a half ago, the end of 2017. And I started using it. And I used it a lot throughout 2018. That's the kind of stuff that forced me to start my channel. I had no intention of starting a YouTube channel. Some of the people in a group I was in, the EDC Brotherhood, kept telling me, why don't I start a channel? So that's exactly what I did. And while my early edge retention result videos they're no longer up, they're gone. I really do need to get busy and post a lot of the ones I have. Just what's in my case here. I mean, there's so many you guys haven't seen. The Crewware that was 63.3 HRC. I did edge retention on this. I still haven't done a intro or ending to it. I've probably had this knife 3 months, maybe more now. I don't. It's been a while. M4, you guys haven't seen that. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You're going to see these here very shortly because I did the P801 and the P128. But a severe lack of information and all these blanket statements are the biggest reason I started my channel. I wanted to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak. So I can say, is 14C28N, is it any good? This is a $30 knife. This is like $77 now. If I bought both of these, or if I, for whatever reason, let's say I was just considering these two, which one was going to get more work done for me? Is this edge going to last longer? Is this edge going to last longer? That's all stuff I didn't know. Now, I probably did edge retention testing for at least 8 months prior to starting my channel. And like I said, it was different, so I don't have nearly the database that I did. Looking back, it would have been nice had I started differently, because I did over 80 knives the other way. And it just didn't provide the same level of information that the fine edge and working edge from a 1-inch section provides now. Not that it wasn't a good general look at what was going on, but it just didn't. I don't even know how to say it. It wasn't detailed information. It was just information. So that's why I was also happy when Kurt told me to go ahead and start sending him knives. And it's awesome to put a Rockwell score with a steel. Like this D2. Why did Benchmade's D2 do so much better than China D2. Even though this is only 59.3 HRC, the only one that even cut close to it was almost 62 HRC China done D2. That's the kind of things that I wanted to know. And the more I did, the more people wanted to know. The more people I had sending me loaners all the time. All kinds of stuff. JR from the Sharp Spot sent me his Medford to put against my ADV. Both D2. And I'm hoping to edit this one because I do somewhere have all the parts I need to get the video done. But why did 59.9 HRC D2 at 20 degrees per side, not even the 15 that most of the China D2 was tested at, why did it do what it did? So, information. Could have kept this short, 2 minutes. Information is the reason that I started my channel. Easy to process information for everyone. I try to keep my videos where everyone can take something away from them. You know, I like really detailed information. And I like it as much as the next person. But just because I understand something and completely have a grip on all the aspects of it, I don't want to put out such detailed information that a large portion of my viewers walk away either not being able to process what they heard or having to go just look up what terms mean and anything like that. I want to keep my channel for the everyman. So if someone who's just getting into knives hops onto YouTube and is like, wow, wonder how the edge retention is on XHP. Not only do they have Pete's testing, but they have Steve's testing. They have my testing. Yeah, Steve goes into a lot more into depth about it. And I love Steve's videos. I like to keep mine how I like to keep it. Some of the things we learned, M390 for example, and that in 20 CV. I mean, what a huge learning curve that was. To find out that most M390 20 CV and 204P is run soft, and it doesn't perform. I mean, time and again we've seen AUS8, 12C27, 14C28N easily outperform 59 HRC M390. Oh, and there goes Aegeus. And I was hoping to get this done this morning, but I did not. I do have hope. 62 HRC M390, that was in one of my Rockwell testing videos. I do really want to get this done this week and get the video out there. I know just from use, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised between the difference of 62 HRC M390 and something like this, 58.3. HRC M390. I mean, I believe this did like a whole 165 feet working edge before. I mean, it wasn't even close to cutting paper at that point. Kind of like what we saw with the Civivi. There's nowhere else on the internet that I saw information like this, that it took 5 full sharpenings to see the maximum potential of this D2. You know, it repeated it on the 6th, but that goes back to the China D2, which I think I'm going to do a whole video on that. It doesn't matter what the HRC for the China D2 is. It's not something that should be in production knives, and I mean, I've tested a range from 58 to 62, and I mean, they're in a huge clump together. They're all so close. I mean, three Rockwell points of difference shouldn't put one D2 within, you know, 3, 4, 5% of another one. Because while you guys haven't seen it, the difference between Steve's Crewwear Para 3 that was 61.7 and this 63.3 HRC Crewwear, it's a sizable, huge difference. I mean, night and day, to the point where if you didn't know that this was Crewwear and you didn't know that that Para 3 was Crewwear and you used them, you would think it was a different steel. That's pretty much all I have. It's always going to be about information first, testing first, finding out what the Rockwell is on some of these steels that perform really well, and some that I haven't tested yet that, I mean, I really like this knife. I'm glad that I got it for a really good price, because it 57.8 HRC M390. I don't have a lot of hope for this one, especially knowing what 58.3 HRC M390 cuts. I mean, I guess on the bright side is if it at least cuts as much as S30V, then I mean, I guess I'll just look at it as a, you know, a knife in S30V. I don't plan on getting rid of this, no matter how it does. I do enjoy this knife. That's about all I have. I know I've rambled on enough. I am going to try to do some more stropping videos, the Bringing It Back series. I know a whole lot of steels that strop back very well. We will talk about these in later videos, about what I've done with them with stropping only and what kind of time period of use that these have on them. And if you guys have any other ideas of any kind of testing you want to see, let me know. I'm going to leave the hammering and prying into wood to Steve. He's doing awesome with it. He gets way more excited about it than I would. Like I said, this S90V is going to get tested. It will go to Kurt for HRC testing. My S90V Mannix is there, one of them now, and I'm really curious to see what it comes back at and how it compares to this S90V right here. Things like that. That's another thing I love. When it came to testing, I didn't see any other edge retention testing on YouTube with Medford or ADV-D2. I looked through a bunch of videos and I really didn't see much of anything, so I like doing it. I like sharpening. I like finding out what all these different steels will do. I'm going to keep going. If there's anything you guys want to see that I haven't done, I am currently looking for Bradford in V4E. I really want to try that out and get it tested. I'm also going to put a Rat 3 in 1095 against an SE in 1095. I can tell a measurable difference just in sharpening and use, and I'm really curious how that's going to come out. So that's all I have. As far as the smaller blades being a different HRC, I believe next time I'm going to send this Native 5 to Kurt also and find out if there is an actual Rockwell difference and performance difference. It's showed in so many steels already. I'm really curious if it shows that, you know, the more data I can get, the better. If it shows an S90V also. I believe Tom's going to send his Maximate Native 5. I will at some point send mine also. I may also do a sharpening video on Maximate. You know, that's another thing I'll touch on real quick. I know this video is getting kind of long, but saw so many people with sharpening videos say that Maximate was tough to sharpen, and I was just talking about it today. I just went at Maximate like it was any other steel the first time I ever sharpened it. Didn't do anything special, didn't do anything different, and I mean, it was amazing. It sharpened up great. I had zero problems with it. I didn't break, you know, my apex didn't get ripped off, nothing like that. It came out really good. Now, I mean, Maximate's a breeze to sharpen. Whoa, if I don't knock it over, even stuff like this is 64.9 HRC, and Steve and I have talked about it quite a bit. This 4V sharpens so easy, and the apex comes up so nice on this. I really enjoy using this thing. I probably should trade something else I have for another one, or maybe even a Mannix in 4V. This is probably at this point one of my most carried Spydercos, not because I like the Para 3 that much, but because I enjoy using the 4V that much. Just like the Crewwear, I also have it in a Para 3. I do use the Mannix a whole lot more. You know, the same with Benchmade and their S30V. I do hope to test this real soon. It was about 0.3 or 0.4 softer than Steve's Freak that Kurt ended up with, so I'm curious to see what the difference is between this and his. I am gonna have to sharpen this though. I do use this quite a bit, and I didn't forget about the ZDP that I was doing. I did only do 14 days of it. And I do have to do the wrap up on that. I also have to do my ZDP Delica, and this is another one we're going to test. Curious to see how it performs. The one I traded to Kurt came back at 60.7, and while that's not ideal, it's a whole lot better than a lot of 20 CV that we've seen. So I am really curious to send this one, get a Rockwell score, but like most of them I do, I try to test them before I send them to Kurt. And that's one thing, if you guys don't know, as many as possible I cut with prior to getting an HRC score on, so that there is no bias in my testing based on a Rockwell number. I am curious to directly compare the Taiwan Dun M4 with the Golden Dun M4. I have plenty of Golden M4. I've already started on this one. It has not been tested by Kurt yet. So that'll be a great comparison. And that's about it, guys. It's a 26-minute video now. I've talked on long enough. In the end, my channel was started so that I could find out how all these different steels did, how well each one was done, find out all the information that I wasn't able to find, and, you know, find out the truth along the way on some of these. BD1, for example, way better of a steel than the 8CR13 is compared to. The BD1N edge retention you saw that I did, that stuff's great. I mean, it you know, it cut longer than Spyderco S30V, but just a hair under what the Benchmade S30V did. And, you know, for being BD1 with some nitrogen in it, that's awesome. I was really happy to see those results of that test. This will be coming up also to directly compare to the rake and the real steel. Oh, I guess I didn't have this one tested by Kurt yet, which is good since I didn't get to cut with it yet. But that's it, guys. I talk long enough. For those of you that stuck around to the end, I appreciate you watching this long. I already have some viewers in mind, and I am going to start a viewer-based project. Not going to tell you all the details in this video. Just know those of you that contact me, that I interact with all the time, the ones that send me emails, the ones I talk to pretty often, I'm definitely starting a viewer-based interaction for some of my videos, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think you guys will all enjoy it. So that's all I have. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.